It's Gorman in the morning with Fletcher and Ryder. Now, 92 KQRS.
So let's have a good old-fashioned bargument. The question of the day, 651-989-ROCK if you want to chime in with a text. Would you rather run a marathon or fast for 3 days? And by fasting, I mean nothing but a sip of water every now and again.
Oh, I get water.
We're not gonna deprive you of water. We'll give you a few ounces a day just to keep you going.
A few ounces?
Well, you know, here and there.
Okay.
I'll just go ahead and answer this one easily. Fast, no question. It's not even a consideration that I would or could run a marathon. Going without food for 3 days, sign me up. I could use it. I could use it anyway. I did a few weeks many years ago on just green juice. I had a gallbladder thing.
Okay.
Had to clear out some sludge, and a nutritionist recommended just no fruit at all, just vegetable juice, just spinaches and celeries, and blah blah blah. And you get a few days in, you get over. The hunger pangs go away when you starve yourself after a while. At least that was the situation with me. My point is this: I ain't doing 26 miles. I'm sorry, that ain't gonna happen.
Our friend Rick from Monticello called in, and he actually runs marathons. Steve, you and I have met him up in Brainerd.
Yeah.
And he said definitely going with the fasting because of all the training that goes into running a marathon. Man, I hate being hangry, though. I think I'm going to take the 26 miles.
Well, maybe you don't have to run it. Maybe just complete it. I'll give you can walk, run, whatever, but, it's going to take you the better part of a day if you're not running.
And I can eat a slice of pizza while doing it. Or several.
Oh, that's a good point. Yeah, I didn't think about all the protein shakes you could throw down while doing that.
Well, now if we're just walking, you're changing the whole thing.
That's true. Jake texted in, it would probably take me 3 days to run 26 miles, so it's pretty much a wash.
That's a good take,
point.
Jake.
That's fair.
Really good take.
Yeah, I could totally see that one. Chris from Bloomington just texted, I finished 3 marathons. I would most definitely do another one rather than fast for 3 days. Yeah, wow.
I'm taking Chris's advice.
All right.
Well, and I'm going to side with Steve. I have a rule. I have very few rules. One of my rules in life is I don't run unless I'm chased.
Wow, a good rule.
There's just no reason to run unless I'm chased. And the 3 days does sound daunting, and I don't like it. But of the two terrible options, I'll take that.
Okay, how about this? 3 days, no technology. No TVs, no streaming, no music.
Over what?
Over running a marathon.
Oh, that's easy.
Fasting in a cabin without electricity.
I'll do the digital fast.
Yeah, the digital fast.
That's an easy.
Oh no, I mean in addition to the food fast. I'm saying like if you're not going to eat food, if you're not going to eat anything for 3 days, but you also can't lose yourself in say Netflix's Virgin River series.
Again, give me the 26.2 miles.
92 KQRS.
Michelle from Bloomington. Michelle, good morning.
Good morning.
Are you ready for a little double or nothing?
I am ready.
All right, so I'm going to ask you 5 questions, and then after you give us your answers, we'll see how you did compared to one of Ryder's barflies from the halftime wreck. All right, you all set? Here's number 1. All right, Michelle, besides a swimming pool, name a place that it is not unusual to see someone in a bathing suit.
Beach.
Okay, number 2. What's a type of pie you eat often when it's warm outside, but almost never when it's cold?
Key lime.
Key lime. Nice answer. Number 3. Name something people from Chicago brag about.
Air baseball.
I'm sorry, say that again?
Baseball teams.
Got it. Number 4. It's nice to have a friend who owns a blank.
Pontoon.
Damn straight it is. Number 5. Name a legendary Minnesota Twin.
Kirby Puckett.
Nice. I like old Kirby Puckett as an answer and as a ball player. All right, Michelle, very well done. Ryder, who are we going up with here? Who's your barfly?
So we checked in with Don, who was wearing a very fancy tie and told me he was in consulting, and then he kind of winked at me. So we'll see. All right. Here are Don's answers. Besides a swimming pool, name a place that's not unusual to see someone in a bathing suit.
Beach.
What is a type of pie that you eat often when it's hot outside, but not so often when it's cold?
Key lime.
Good answer.
Whoa!
Name something people from Chicago might brag about.
Being from Chicago.
It's nice to have a friend who owns a blank.
Pool.
Name a famous Minnesota twin.
Harmon Killebrew.
Kirby Puckett was the right answer there.
It was the right answer. Michelle, it doesn't matter, though,
Yeah,
because
you
you
nailed
hit the
it.
first two out of the park. Bang, boom. That's a double. You've just won Sex Pistols tickets.
Thank you.
Thank you. Well done.
Don't go anywhere, Michelle.
Don't go anywhere, Michelle. We're going to move on. We got, is this Joe from Richfield on the horn? Joe, good morning.
Good morning.
Are you ready to play a little double or nothing?
Yes, I am.
All right, 5 questions. Here we go. Number 1. Name a type of fish that anglers are excited to catch.
Bass.
Number 2. At what price does a gallon of gas seem cheap?
$2.50.
$2.50. Number 3. Finish this phrase. Fire and blank.
Say it one more time.
Finish this phrase. Fire and blank.
2 seconds, Joe.
Fire and ready.
All right. Obviously not a free fan. All right, number 4. What's a word or phrase Minnesotans are known for saying?
You betcha.
I like that one. All right, number 5. Name a good reason to stay up late.
Homework.
All right, Joe. Let's see what we got on the homework. Didn't see homework coming.
All right, there's nothing better than a 2 a.m. homework session, you know?
That's a fact. All right, Ryder, who are we? Who's Joe going to try to match with?
Joe's going to try and match up with, of the St. Paul Isotopes softball team. We talked to Mike, who I totally fangirled over him because he is like a big up at Menards. I was real excited.
Nice.
Here are Mike's answers. Name a type of fish anglers are excited to catch.
A walleye.
At what price does a gallon of gas seem cheap?
$2.99.
Finish the phrase, fire and...
Water. That was tough. Fire and ice. Fire and ice.
There you go. What's a word or phrase Minnesotans are known for saying?
Ope.
Name a good reason to stay up late.
Playoff game.
Playoff game.
Oh,
Yeah.
Joe, sorry to say, you got nothing. 0 for 5, but thank you very much for the call, brother.
Skunked.
We still got one more, don't we?
Yeah, we can hit up Dana.
Let's do Dana. Dana, you with us?
Yes, sir.
All right, Dana, you know what we're doing. We're playing double or nothing. You ready?
Yep.
Here's your first question. What's the minimum height someone should be before they even consider playing in the NBA?
5'7".
5'7". Spud Webb says thank you, even though he was really 5'4". Name something high schoolers do that would disappoint their mothers.
Quit school.
There you go. What's an event that you would go get your hair cut before attending?
New job.
New job, first day on the job. Okay, number 4. At what temperature is it warm enough to eat a meal on the patio?
60.
60. Number 5. How long does a car trip need to take before it's too far to drive?
So you're just driving for the heck of it, or what?
Well, when do you consider? When do you think? No, screw it. I'm flying.
Let's say, so like for a trip.
Yeah.
You're going to go somewhere long distance.
Yep.
10 hours.
10 hours. All right, let's see how you match up. Who we got, Ryder?
All right, we talked to Care Bear, also of the St. Paul Isotopes. Just a total stereotypical Bardu. He's got the Mr. Clean haircut and
Nice.
a belly you could put a shamrock on. Here are Care Bear's answers. Care Bear, let's go.
Here we go.
Okay, what's the minimum height somebody should be before they consider playing in the NBA?
6'3".
Name something high schoolers do that disappoints their mothers.
Drink.
What's an event you would... Oh, this is a dumb one to ask you. What's an event you would consider getting a haircut before attending?
A wedding.
Wedding's a good answer. What's a temperature where it's warm enough to sit on the patio for a meal?
Oh, 50 in Minnesota.
What? How long does a car trip need to take before it's too far to drive?
Ooh, 5.5 hours.
Oh, wow.
These people
Lightweight. Dana, sorry to say you didn't match 2. You went 0 for 5, but we appreciate the call and the effort there, my man. So let's see. We went 1 for 3. Michelle scored Sex Pistols tickets.
Yeah.
Hey,
I was
man.
confident. I told you one of them was going to nail it.
Yeah, one of them was right on top of things. For the record, there's a band from Virginia called Illiterate Light, and they have a great song called Wedding Hair. Truly, it's a beautiful tune. Track it down by name.
It's Gorman in the Morning with Fletcher and Ryder, 92 KQRS.
It's time for Rank You Very Much.
All right.
And in honor of Father's Day,
Yeah,
we're
buddy.
going straight in. Dad-isms. What are the top 3 dad-isms of your life, either as a dad or as a kid of a dad? And we're going to just line them up, and you can share yours with us at 651-989-ROCK. Text in your favorite dad-isms. We've got a few to share, but Paul, what's on your mind?
This is one of the toughest ones we've done. There are so many, right?
Well, sure.
So many popped into head, and to scale it down to 3, challenging for sure.
Top 3 dad-isms. Let's go with our number 3s. Ryder, why don't you take us off here?
Okay. So this one, I don't know if my dad said it a lot, but I've always liked it. And it was basically the blank ain't gonna blank itself. So the dishwasher ain't gonna empty itself.
Sure.
The laundry ain't gonna fold itself.
Yeah.
Like that sort of thing.
That's very good.
Yeah.
That's a corollary, not on my list, but my dad was a big fan of saying when we'd be running around, he'd go, "Hey, find a chair and use it." You know?
Yeah.
Your ass isn't going to sit itself down, but it was whatever. But it was always the blank ain't going to blank itself is very, very strong.
God, I really love to combat you guys when we play this game, but I can't. There's no way to refute that one. That's a really good call.
These are classics. I've heard myself say this peanut butter ain't going to eat itself sometimes when I'm standing there with a big thing of celery looking at peanut butter thinking, well, it's healthy if I have it with celery.
Oh, it was the green beans aren't going to eat themselves when they were sitting on my plate, and I was not interested.
Peas over here. Green beans were good. Peas were not my friend.
I have done it before with their ice cream in my hand.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah.
All right, what's your number 3, Paul?
My number 3 is might have to amputate. It's my version with my girls has turned into like when they have a tiny scrape or a bump looks like we'll have to lop it off. Should we go to the hospital?
Wow. Okay.
If the pain ain't real, the hysteria tends to wane really quickly when you bring up the hospital. And usually it actually turns into like a giggle.
Yeah, the good one. These are all reminding me of ones I hadn't thought of. If there was a fall in the house, either of my parents would say, "Oh my God, is the floor okay?" And it would just be like, "Oh, that's kind of funny," it'd take off the edge. My number 3, and this is one my dad would use, but specifically only if there was if we had cousins staying over or a sleepover, he would be the nice guy with other people in the house, and there'd be you'd start to get a little too cacophonous, and this is as shticky as it gets, but he would open up the door to the basement and holler down there, "Let's keep it down to a dull roar."
Oh, I heard the dull roar. Yes.
Let's keep it down to a dull roar. And all I'd think is, oh my God, if it was just me and my brothers, he'd come down and just smack us.
Right?
Yeah, that was good, Dad. Down to a dull roar. Number 3 right there.
We got to change techniques when we have friends over.
Oh, it's very clearly. Yeah, I mean, but we would always,
Really?
my subconscious would tell me though too, so he knows he's not cool. Oh, okay. All right, fair enough. I'm going to share one text, and then we'll get on to our number 2s. Terry texted, "My dad's been gone for 10 years now. I was a challenge occasionally, and he would say, 'I'm going to kick you so hard you'll end up in next week.'"
Oh,
It's
Terry.
pretty strong.
Yes.
That's a good one.
I
That's good
wonder if
stuff.
Terry uses that on their own kids.
Let's hope so.
Yes.
All right, Ryder, what's your number 2?
Number 2, and this one I didn't know wasn't something that originated from my dad until just earlier this year, but frequently he would say, "Bingo, must be in the front row." And I had no idea that was a Bob Uecker quote until Bob died in January.
Oh, no.
Wow.
No idea. That's one of the...
I was like, why the freak is he always saying it? That doesn't make any sense.
I might be wrong, but I think that's the first Miller Lite ad Bob Uecker did. That's from the
believe
very
so.
first one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't know
Bingo.
that. I've never heard that one,
Yeah,
even
must
now.
be in the front row.
Must
I
be
was
in the
like,
front row.
what the hell are you talking
Oh, that's
about,
great.
man?
That's hilarious. All right, Fletcher, number 2.
Oh, my God. The number of times I heard my dad say this one, I wasn't sleeping. I was just resting my eyes.
Oh, really?
Oh, my God. My dad had the incredible ability to doze off almost anywhere.
Yeah.
Most notably during sermons in church.
Oh, sure.
I wasn't sleeping. I was just resting my eyes. And back in the day, Mom would get angry about that. If he fall asleep in the pew.
My dad never fell asleep because, he was just too paranoid. But I did. I was raised to fall asleep at the drop of a hat. I wasn't raised to. I just taught myself, I guess.
Nice work.
But my dad did tell me once. He said I said that I'd fallen asleep in school, and there's that thing of I was resting my eyes, and he said, he goes, if you're gonna take a nap, always put your head down on the desk, and when the teacher busts you, just lift your head and say Amen. As if you'd been praying. He actually gave me a little. It was a good one there. I was like,
wisdom. Yeah.
I was like, my dad's telling me how to get away with something. This is weird.
Yeah.
That's counterintuitive. Yeah. My number 2, and this is one I heard my dad say to me and all my brothers. I don't think I ever heard him say it to one of my sisters. It was just a standard. I'll give you something to cry about.
Oh yeah.
Oh man. That was a rough one.
That's an all-timer right there. That's a top 10 all-timer.
Yeah,
I heard that one too.
Yeah, he was real happy to let us know whatever we're crying about right now is nowhere near what we'll be crying about if we don't stop crying.
Did either of your dads, when he got angry, would he do anything with his face? Like my dad would always kind of bite his bottom lip just subtly, or the tongue would go in the teeth
We don't have enough time to talk about what my dad did when he was angry. Biting his own lip or something would have been like a joy. Oh,
no,
wow.
I'm talking a mannerism or something like that that would indicate that where they could just look at you with that without even saying a word.
Oh, my dad and my grandma, his mother, would raise their eyebrows and the wrinkles on their forehead would just all clump together.
Father's Day on Sunday. We're counting down. Rank you very much. Our top 3 dad-isms. We've got a lot of great ones on the text line 651-989-ROCK as well. A few we can't read on the air. Tom just came in with, why don't you use your head for something besides a hat rack?
That's genius.
All right, that's pretty good. All right, it's time for our number 1s, dad-isms. Ryder, what do you got?
Okay, Dad likes that I would help him out with, let's say, home improvement projects. I very much grew up in a Tim the Toolman Taylor kind of household for anybody who watched Home Improvement.
Yeah.
So the one thing he would say, and it wasn't every time, but almost always before doing some type of electrical work, he would say, whatever you do, kids, don't try this at home. And then not shut off the breaker for whatever kind of power we were needed to work on. So yeah.
Right on. All right, fair enough. These are heartwarming.
I grew up scared, so I shut off almost the entire damn house when I do anything.
Sure. Oh, I'm always terrified of electricity.
Really?
Oh, I will turn off a breaker before doing just about anything.
I got a buddy who's an electrician, and he's like, if you have to go turn the breaker off, you probably shouldn't be doing the project in the first place.
Fair enough.
He's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
One of the reasons I married Rosemary is because her dad and her brothers are all electricians, union electricians. I was like, all right, I'm safe with her.
Nice.
That's where it's at right there.
Give us your number 1, Paul.
My number 1 is don't make me turn this car around. Although my dad's version was don't make me pull this car over. You guys want to get out and walk? This happened often on our 6-hour drives to Roseau, and he actually did it once. He made us get. Oh yeah, we were in the middle of nowhere. Got out. I mean, he only drove a couple hundred feet, but it was enough to get my brother and me to shut up the rest of the drive.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. The Don was happy to just use his rearview mirror as a periscope and put the arm over the seat, left hand on the steering wheel, right arm punching backwards to smack somebody in the back seat. No, there was no pulling over. We have a schedule to keep, but I'll smack you while I'm driving.
Yeah.
My number 1. Fat, drunk, and stupid is no way to go through. No, wait, no, sorry. That's Dean Wormer from Animal House. That wasn't my dad.
What?
No, my dad's number 1. You want a democracy? Walk out the door. This is not a democracy.
Wow.
Oh, yeah. On the rare occasion, but every time he said that, it was like the house would shake. Like, well, I thought this was America. It would be like, yeah, not inside this house, Jack. Walk down the street if you want a democracy.
Wow. Yeah.
I also proposed that we vote on things sometimes and got the response back we do not live in a democracy here.
100%. No, it was rare. I mean, the few times people would suggest well, Dad, you're the only one who thinks that way. It'd be like, I can't believe you said that out loud. No, what the hell's happening?
The math certainly checks out on everything you said about your dad on that one being number 1.
Man, make no mistake about it. All right, there's your dad-isms on your rank you very much.
Gorman in the morning. Coming right back. 92 KQRS. Streaming from 92KQRS.com. Gorman in the Morning is back. 92 KQRS.
What's the most inexplicable, weirdest thing that ever happened to you? What's the thing that when you tell the story, people go, no way, man. No way. Yesterday, a text came in. We hit this at the end of the show. Here's a text. I hit a deer riding my e-bike. I broke 7 ribs and my collarbone and fractured my skull.
Holy buckets.
With 7 stitches.
How was the deer?
Apparently, we don't have an update on the deer yet.
Yes.
I'm guessing the deer won.
I would hope so.
It's sounding like it did.
Man,
That's brutal.
It reminded me, reading that, I broke both of my arms playing basketball at the same moment. I went up.
What do you mean at the same moment?
It was a pickup game. It was Memorial Day in a gym that we had broken into to play, so there was no one around.
Oh, perfect.
There was no office unlocked. There was no phones anywhere to call to get help. I had a breakaway, and I went up, and this was at a time when I was able to dunk a basketball, and as I did with 2 hands, as I was just right as my hands were on the rim, a guy behind me, not to try to hurt me at all. He was like, I knew him. He just put his hand on like the small, just gave me a tiny shove, like a-hole, just like you do. But it was right as I was letting go, and it swung my legs forward. Like as I was already swinging forward a little bit, then that shove just made me go from flailing a little out of control to a flat-out half gainer backwards down to the floor.
And your arms, of course, stuck out to
my right wrist, and then it hit first, and it snapped back, and then as I was kind of balling up and trying to protect myself, my left elbow just went straight in too and chipped that. And I laid there on my arms, and having broken my arm as a kid twice already in life. This happened when I was 21. What am I talking about? It was right before my 21st birthday.
Okay.
I knew what it felt like to break a bone. It feels like pins and needles. Like before the pain, you have that feeling of, And I was laying there, and I immediately realized, I just broke both my damn arms. And I was like, I can't believe this happened. And then I kind of rolled over, and then it's like I have to stand up without using my arms, and everyone's like reaching a hand out. Hey, let me help you. And I'm like, get away from me. Don't touch my arms. And then I had to walk across this whole campus to get to the dorm I was living in. It was a summer session, and had to, have the guy call my brother to come get me to take me to the hospital.
With 2 dangling limbs.
It was Memorial Day, and when I got to the ER, all the guys who had blown up themselves at barbecues were in front of me in line. A bunch of burn victims from Memorial Day drunk cookouts.
Missing pinkies.
But the whole point is I spent that whole summer, and every time I saw anybody, they'd go, oh, car crash? Because they see 2 broken arms, and they just assume it's something like that. And I'd go, no, I was playing basketball.
Went full shack.
And nobody would believe me. Nobody would ever believe. And then finally, after a while, I would say, yep, car crash. That's what that was.
Just easier.
And then just to top it off, the day I got the second cast off, the day I was finally free of both casts, I rolled my right ankle and tore every ligament in that joint, and it was far more painful than 2 broken arms. And so I spent the entire summer just in pain. And everybody would look at me like, you got to be kidding me. Anyway,
no way.
But I didn't hit a deer on an e-bike. That's pretty strong right there.
That's insane. Both of those are insane. They're both no ways.
Absolutely no ways. Here's another one from Tom, texted in. I was on R&R in Singapore 7 years ago, and I walked into a hotel, checking in 10 feet away, my old high school classmate and his wife. We're both in Singapore at the same time, checked into the same hotel at the same time. We had no idea either one of us was going to be there.
Damn.
Because I told that story yesterday. I bumped into my brother in a hotel in Richmond, Virginia once, and we were just like, what's happening? What are you doing here?
Yeah, Tom's clean on the other side of the planet, though.
Yeah, that's pretty special, Singapore. As an 18-year-old girl, I hitchhiked across the USA and survived. That's a text.
That's a brave human right there.
Yeah. On the text line, 651-989-ROCK. Okay, the first one, this is just all good. This is just good old-fashioned fun.
All right.
Okay. On my first deployment while in the Navy, I'm already all ears on this one.
Yeah.
I was fortunate enough to spend my 21st birthday in Thailand.
Heyo.
I woke up in the lobby of the wrong hotel on a love seat, naked, with my clothes folded perfectly sitting on the table next to me.
So courteous.
My phone and wallet were still in my pants with all of my money. Nothing was missing.
Sounds like good old-fashioned hazing right there.
You got to love a society that sees a naked American GI laying there on a love seat, and it's like, well, we can't. Don't wake him up. You know what? Fold his clothes. Make sure those clothes are all there, and don't take anything.
Unless it was his buddies.
It could have been.
But still, people had to have passersby.
That's what I mean.
Passersby had to have been there. Yeah.
Plenty of opportunity for people to get in there. And check this out. Okay. Now this is one. Tracy texted this in, and this is as inexplicable as it gets.
Is this the one that you alluded to?
This is crushing. My biological parents told my 15-year-old sister, quote, if anyone asks, we went to the drive-in movie. They never came back. Abandoned 10 kids.
Oh, my goodness.
At home at the time. The oldest was 15, the youngest 6 weeks. Where are those people? And I feel like
What's her name?
Tracy.
Tracy, I mean, I'm being dead serious.
Yeah.
Tracy should reach out to Netflix, Hulu, whoever.
Wow.
I would watch this documentary in a heartbeat. Also, you get the benefit of their staff investigating all of this for you if she wants answers, or maybe she's got them and not sharing, but I would watch a documentary on that.
That's incredible right
there.
That
is, and it's heartbreaking too. That's awful.
651-989-ROCK.
Cow.
Okay, let's get it back to the fun. It was a Friday the 13th. Gotta love that. Starting off on the right foot.
Yeah.
I was on my way to work. The brakes in my car failed.
Oh, boy.
I went through a red light, hit a school bus right square in the front tire, totaled my car, scratched the hubcap on that school bus. After everything got settled at the accident site, there was a nice man there who offered to give me a ride to work. I took him up on it. We went about 5 blocks. He got T-boned in the passenger's door at an intersection.
Gotta be kidding.
Of course, right where I was sitting. Somehow, luckily, I didn't get hurt in either accident, but I did go home for the day. I think 2 car crashes is absolutely you've crossed the line of, hey, boss, I'm not going to make it in today.
Yeah. You made every effort to get there.
Yeah.
Not like some people who sleep in and their boss calls and they say, oh, I was supposed to work at the grocery store today.
Yeah. Well, these things happen. Lucy texted in, I broke my fingers on my right hand rollerblading, had a couple of surgeries, and then it was put into a cast. Then a small travel hairdryer blew up in my left hand, left me with an electrical burning, and that was wrapped for a week or so. So I had both hands wrapped, couldn't tie my shoes, and all the other things. Very challenging. Trust me. So when I had 2 arms in cast, when I broke my arms, as I'm at the ER and I'm leaving, the guy gave me, he wrote a prescription for like Percocet or Percodan, some sort of opioid for the pain.
Yep.
And I said, thanks. And he said, get on these, make sure you take these. And he referenced it a couple times. He goes, hey, get that every 8 hours or whatever it called for. He said, don't. And I go, is it going to hurt that bad? And he looked at me and goes, no, but it will constipate you, and you need a few days to figure out how you're going to wipe yourself.
Oh, my God.
And that's when I realized I'm way in over my head with this.
Never even thought about that.
Yeah, you don't think of those things.
No.
A lot of things, all of a sudden, a strapping young man at 20, and all of a sudden I couldn't use my arms for anything.
I still, and it's not nice, but I still giggle just because when you start the sentence, I broke my arm, you expect it to stop at that. You don't expect it to end with an S.
Oh, yeah.
I broke my arms. I giggle when you get to arms.
Sure. No, it's crazy.
Just like I broke my arms.
It was the best of times. It was the worst of times.
And you didn't know how to wipe.
But I did take full advantage of those few days, and because I had the fingers were the right wrist cast, that goes around your thumb, and then you can still use your fingers and your thumb. But I practiced because the one thing I knew was I had to go back home and move back in with Mom for a month, and I was like, it's been a long time since this woman had to help me in the bathroom, and we ain't going back down that road. Happy to say I figured it out.
I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah.
Per our conversation, I believe yesterday, thank God you didn't have to be naked to go to the toilet with the broken arms.
Yeah, no, never had that issue at all. Okay, here's a good one,
God.
and then we'll hit it. No, it's just a good. These things are so incredible. I was in line at a bank in Melbourne, Australia. I was wearing a sweatshirt that said Northwoods Outfitters, no other indication of where that might be. There was an older local woman who looked like a babushka grandma in front of me in the very slow-moving line. She turned to me and said, are you from Grand Marais?
No way.
I was totally confused as that was so random. She pointed at my sweatshirt and said, oh, my sister lives there.
Wow.
What are the chances? 651-989 Rock is the KQ Talking text line. We've been discussing some crazy ass stories that happened to us. Things that there was we shared a story. A woman said she wrecked her car on the way to work one morning. Her brakes failed. She slammed into a school bus, and then she got a ride from a good-hearted Samaritan to get to work after the whole wreck had been cleared away. And then that guy wrecked his car. He got T-boned. She was in 2 crashes in less than an hour on the way to work. This text just in. This is the other side of that. This is the upside of crazy things. In a matter of 13 months, I had 3 things happen that normally never does. I bowled a 300.
Holy
So my man rolled a perfect game.
It's pretty good.
I got a hole-in-one.
Come on.
Damn.
Very nice. And had open heart surgery.
And lived to tell about
He was
it?
so excited by that hole-in-one that he had a heart attack. He said he was 35 and 36 years old in this stretch of time. Young for a heart attack.
Yeah.
Old to throw 300 for the first time. I mean, that's like, boy, if you're going to roll 300, I would think it would happen a little earlier in life.
Yeah,
Have you
young
seen
for a
bowlers?
young for a hole-in-one. My grandpa got his when he was like 80.
I have one hole-in-one. And it happened way too early in my golfing days because I was not very good yet. But I had the shot of a lifetime. And I probably should have just retired right then.
Yeah.
Jesse's on a course like 4 times a week. Have you had a hole-in-one?
Goodness, no. Can barely
No?
make it. No, I'm not very good. I wouldn't say I'm good. I'm just out there for the beers and the golf cart, mostly having a good time.
Yeah,
Right.
nice. I can
That's
see
the way
it.
to do it.
Yeah.
My hole-in-one, the best part, well, it's cool to say you had a hole-in-one, but the best part of it was the words that came out of my mouth right before I swung the club. I was on tour. This is 1992. It's so long ago. I'd only been playing for about a year. And my tour manager said we were going to fly home that night. And as we're standing there, I said to him, or no, I'm sorry, he said to me, closest to the pin, little wager. And I said $100. And he said, you're on. So not only did I get a hole-in-one, but I immediately was paid $100 for hitting that hole-in-one.
What was the yardage? How far out?
About 170.
Okay.
And the other thing that was crazy about it too, I never do this. I was standing over that ball, and I had been playing a horrific round of golf. It was just last day of the tour, whatever. I couldn't hit the ball straight. I was in the middle of my backswing, and I stopped and switched clubs. That's no golfer ever does.
No.
It's so hard. I've been golfing forever, and I still, if I realize like my grip's off, instead of stopping the swing, I adjust it during the swing, and it never works.
What could go wrong?
It never works. The one time in my life I was ever mid backswing. No, I'm not going to do this. I'm going to hit that 7. And I changed clubs, and then I struck the ball. And not only that, right to left fade, the only time I've ever hit one in my life. I landed it after it went past the pin and spun back in.
Wow.
I've never done that since. It was the absolute blindest, luckiest shot in history. But everyone who saw it was like, that's a real golfer right there. And I let them think that as I bought drinks at the bar.
Nice.
I'm going back to the beginning of the story. We say, I've been playing for a year.
Yeah.
Give me a break.
What?
That's ridiculous.
No.
It's ridiculous to hit that shot, get a hole-in-one after playing a year.
You ready for this?
It's ridiculous.
Alexander
Rookie of the year.
Ovechkin. Alexander Ovechkin, greatest goal scorer now of all time in the NHL. First time he went out golfing, got a hole-in-one.
Yes.
Sure he did.
He's
like it.
even worse than Steve.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable.
92 KQRS.
Wisconsin, Texas, Florida. WTF
Oh, yeah.
is how we prefer to
Yeah.
roll with this.
It's
So
Steve's edition this week, so he picked these ones out. Fletcher and I will be guessing. Listen and let us know what the answers are.
we're going to hear some clips from some news stories. You got to tell us which state did this come from, and we'll just get right to it. Enjoy, please.
Okay.
This morning, a postal worker is facing charges for allegedly being drunk on the job. So this happened in investigators say 33-year-old Caitlin Dye was reportedly driving while impaired. While making those mail deliveries, an eyewitness says she caught the whole thing on dash camera. Take a look at this video. She says the mail truck was driving on the wrong side of the road and even veered off the road at certain points.
She proceeded to drive in zigzags all the way down the road until she got to the stop sign, where she proceeded to kick a Solo cup out of the side of the mail truck. My son was in the car and she almost hit us.
Police say this happened on Saturday, April 12th. An arrest report also says she told the officer she was invited to a party on her mailing route and drank 2 vodkas, she told them. Okay. Guy has since been bonded out of jail on a misdemeanor DUI charge.
Partying with the mailman.
The mail carrier shows up to deliver the mail and then sees a party going on and says, yeah, it's the middle of a shift. Why not?
Working on a Saturday, too, might I note. And I'm the daughter of a retired postal worker. That was probably her 6th day of work. So, you know.
Yeah.
This is a greater offense because you're a federal employee, yeah?
I don't know how that works, man. It's just, all I know is this. I made damn sure to have a job for years where drinking on the job was perfectly acceptable.
Yeah, well done.
I don't know what the hell everyone else was thinking.
In the news story, did they recreate the Solo cup falling out of the vehicle?
I love the sound effect. It's great.
That was interesting.
All right, so there's one. That is either Florida, Wisconsin, or Texas. Texas, Wisconsin, Florida, or Wisconsin, Texas, Florida, whichever order you want to go in. WTF. Let's hear another one. I like this one. You know, the fair's coming up. We'll all be excited about the Minnesota State Fair.
Yeah, buddy.
But, you know, a lot of states have fairs.
New on 12, a vendor working at the State Fairgrounds accused of putting super glue in his coworker's soda is headed to trial.
34-year-old Joseph Ross made that not guilty plea inside this court this morning. In March, the County District Attorney's Office charged Joseph Ross with placing foreign objects in edibles. A criminal complaint says a woman told State Fair Park Police the drinks on her desk had a, quote, strong chemical smell and taste, and after she drank them, she would get sick. The woman told police she set up a camera on her desk and caught her coworker, Joseph Ross, putting something in her drink. According to the criminal complaint, police searched Ross's office and found super glue. This morning, Ross pleaded not guilty. 12 News asked him and his attorney about the plea and the woman's video. The woman got you on camera, though. With Ross waiving his right to a preliminary hearing and pleading not guilty this morning, he is expected to go to trial. In Zoe Henry, 12 News.
I like how she set up the sting.
Yeah, I like that. Getting the camera on her own.
In hockey, Marcus Foligno's a glue guy. That's a guy that keeps the locker room together.
Sure.
It's a good version of a glue guy. I don't think this is the kind of glue guy you would be.
I wouldn't have put crazy glue in a drink if I didn't love her. All right, we got one more. Now we're going deep down the darkest roads. This is getting a little morbid here. Check this out.
Oh boy.
And we start with developing news tonight. And mortuary worker accused of experiments on corpses finds herself behind bars.
The suspect, Adeline Non-Bin Bowie, faces charges of corpse abuse and tampering with government documents. KXAN's Brianna Hollis went through court records on the case.
According to these court documents, the suspect, who police say worked here at Capitol Mortuary Services, confirmed she used the limbs of corpses to study the effects of embalming fluid with and without formaldehyde. PD's investigation also uncovered she may have forged nearly 130 death certificates. A complaint from a former employee here to the Funeral Services Commission sparked this investigation. He told investigators Bowie fraudulently used his name to complete and amend death certificates, and that he was aware she was running, quote, experiments on corpses' limbs. Bowie told police, according to her affidavit, that she guessed she experimented with about 15 bodies. Bowie's attorney says this case is complex and all of the pertinent details aren't yet apparent. According to online court records, Bowie is currently out on bond. Brianna Hollis, KXAN News.
I don't think the case is complex. I think it's pretty simple.
Yeah.
There's a freak at the mortuary.
They let her out, too?
Or puts the lotion in the basket.
No kidding.
Or gets the hose again.
All right, we're gonna discuss which state do we think these are from.
Man.
But
I'm so baffled right now.
this is a pretty good little list right here. But
solid work.
But let's see if we can find somebody who can do the heavy lifting for us. 651-989-ROCK. We've got a man who knows of what he speaks. Tom from Roseville. Tom, good morning, sir.
Good morning, gang.
All right, Tom. So I'm gonna set these clips up again, and then we'll see what Ryder thinks. We'll see what Paul thinks, and then we'll have you give us the correct answers. Okay, the first story we played, it was about the postal worker who was arrested on DUI charges. She was delivering mail on a Saturday, showed up at a house where a party was in full swing. They invited her in, and she said, sure, I'll have a few.
Yeah.
And then drove off, weaving drunkenly afterwards. Ryder, where do you imagine this happened?
This seems like a very hospitable place, real friendly. I like that. I'm going to say Wisconsin for this one.
Okay. Fletcher, what are your thoughts?
This seems a little wackadoo to me, and it could only happen in Florida.
Tom from Roseville, what's the answer?
Paula is correct. It's the Sunshine State of Florida.
Damn straight.
There you go. All right.
Wow, I totally guessed on that.
Yeah, no, that's perfect. All right, the second story. A worker at the state fairgrounds was caught on video putting super glue in his coworker's pop, his soda, her Coke. What do you think, Ryder?
All right. I am going to go with Texas on this one. It just seems too crafty to be Florida. The coworker setting up the camera and all that kind of stuff.
Too crafty for Florida.
Yes.
Fletcher?
Texas has a very world-renowned state fair.
They certainly do.
It is, it's above behavior like this. So I'm going to say Wisconsin.
Wow. All right, lay it on us, Tom.
Paul's on a hot streak. We're going with Paul all the way for the win.
There you go. That's right. Was that old Scotty over there,
buddy,
dipping the super glue into a coworker's Coke. All right, so finally, the police arrest a mortuary worker for experimenting on corpses. We're just gonna let the we know the answer
Florida
now.
On this one, just because it was the king of all weirdness.
That's right.
Let me down, Florida.
Not
Texas,
to be the case.
Texas has a thing with corpses, though. They like their corpses in Texas.
There's
what?
your.
How do you know that?
I don't know. Too many documentaries, probably. That'd be my best guess.
We all know the answer, Tom, but lay it on us anyway.
Definitely the Lone Star State. Paul all the way.
Damn straight. Tom, well done, brother.
Gorman in the morning. Coming right back. 92 KQRS. Streaming from 92KQRS.com. Gorman in the morning is back. 92 KQRS.
Larry from Coon Rapids texted in, my Pittsburgh accent comes out thick when I run into another Pittsburgher.
I'm having a hard time even imagining what a Pittsburgh accent sounds like.
It's not massively different, but it's like they lose the L's, sort of. I think the radio play-by-play guy for the Wild right now, Joe O'Donnell, I think he's Pittsburgh.
Okay.
And he doesn't say Matt Boldy. He says Matt Bodie.
More than anything, they talk about the benefit of adding French fries to your sandwich. That whole Primanti Brothers thing in Pittsburgh, it's like, guys, enough already. It's a big deal over there. Oh, they put the fries right on the sandwich. Yeah, great. I got a salad once, and they had French fries on my salad.
What?
I'm like, you guys, that's really... So I really didn't even catch the accent.
I didn't know that was a Pittsburgh thing.
It's one of those things.
I went to a Lunds Byerly's in Woodbury and went to the salad bar. You could get Cheetos there. Like to put on your salad.
Okay, now come on. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. A travel survey asked a whole lot of Americans for the sexiest accents, and a whole lot of Americans are apparently into S&M because this is what they said.
Yikes!
Number one,
S&M.
Okay, number one, Texas, which is a very generalized. I mean, I don't even know what that means because Texas is enormous, and there are many different accents there. But this is the one that kills me. Number two, Boston.
What?
How on God's green earth?
Thumbs up on this one.
Thumbs up.
Yes, I think I got some backup on the text line. Jimmy of Jimmy's Motorcycles. Yes.
Really? You like
loves loves women with that Boston accent.
The women. Okay, yeah, that's fine.
I'll say guys as well. Yeah, it's
that's
just
wicked
somebody,
good, huh?
Yes.
You like it over there?
I'll take a Ben Affleck or a Matt Damon in a Dunkin' Donuts commercial.
Yeah, but they don't look like that in real life. I've been to Boston. Those people like that don't walk. There's a reason those guys live in L.A. now. Number three, New York. Okay, I don't even know what that means. There's because again, New York City, like London, there's every street has a different accent.
Yeah.
This is the one that blows my mind. Number five on this. I've thought about this a lot in my life, and it's one of my favorite cities, and it's the place I despise the most. The hardcore accent of Chicago, Illinois. That's number five on sexiest accents.
Really? The Bears.
That Chicago thing. Every time it's just there's just like a.
It's like
anytime I see a guy talking with that accent, they immediately turn into Porky Pig. That's what I see.
It's like they're chopping lettuce with their words.
Yeah, it just grinds my gears to no end. I love Chicago. I have a great time. I have a lot of great friends there. I have a lot of great memories. But when I am around people that are thick Chicago accents, I just want to rip my ears off my head.
Here's my question. Number four is Maine. Now, if you polled 100 people, could 90 of them even tell you what a Maine accent is?
Pepperidge Farm remembers. It's softer, thicker Boston. It's softer and somehow thicker. It's more like if Boston's milk, then Maine is cream. Right? A nice creamy topping. It's that sort of thing. It's
basically
a
proper Boston.
It's a southern Nova Scotian is what that is.
Right.
Several Australians in here. It's got to be a soft Aussie accent. Well, from a blonde Sheila. Okay, so now you're attaching the accent to a specific person.
Does it really matter? If it looks the way you want it to look, does it really matter what the accent is? It's going to be sexy no matter what.
No. Accent can ruin somebody for me.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
A gorgeous human.
Hey, look, yeah.
Really?
I'll tell you a quick story. And as a guy who spent a lot of my years in the South, this is just the shortest version possible. I was in Paris, France one time. I was doing a promo tour. Me and the singer of my band, we're just, for a month, we're in Europe just doing press. No shows, nothing. We're just talking about the new record, blah, 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 blah. And you're in a different city every day, and it's fun, and it's exhausting, and it's boring, and it's cool. It's everything. We are at a nightclub, a very hot place in Paris, with the record company guy takes us out, and we go and we're there, and we are seated at a booth, and like a woman comes in and she's like, I'm with the Ford Modeling Agency. I'm a big fan of the band. We're like, great. She goes, I'm going to bring some people over here. They want to meet you. And so 4 models, long story short, sit down in a booth with us.
All right.
And they're all like Eastern European girls, and apparently they like the Black Crowes. The one girl that didn't say a word sat across from us. She was dark-haired, fair-skinned, green eyes, and I kid you not, the most striking woman I've ever seen in person. And my singer and I both were like, okay, this is like very uncomfortable, and she's clearly from some part. I mean, I've never seen, if you've seen someone that's so striking, it makes you just, it was like, I felt like a complete tongue-tied, just couldn't believe the beauty of this person.
Okay.
She sat there very quietly for 7-8 minutes. And then finally, she picked up on the conversation, and she's very aloof, and so you think she's above it all. Mm-hmm. And then actually, she was just dumb as a brick, and she just went, when she finally opened her mouth, she went, oh my God, I just realized y'all's a Black Crow. She was from Gastonia, North Carolina.
Wow.
And she spent the next 10 minutes saying, I was in Milan, but I hated Italy. I couldn't find nothing to eat over there. And here, she said, they're putting a Chili's on the Champs-Elysees. I'm not making any of this up. The single most beautiful person I've ever seen in my life. And when she opened her mouth, 2 Southern gentlemen were like, we got to get out of this place.
Oh, no.
It just twisted. It was like a Twilight Zone episode where the pig-faced people are beautiful and the beautiful. It just everything went upside down, and it may or may not have been because I was tripping. But listen, the point is, yes, a beautiful accent or a horrific accent can really change the way you look at things.
It's Gorman in the Morning with Fletcher and Ryder, 92 KQRS.
John Caparulo will be at the Parkway Theater. He's a very funny gentleman, and he happens to be on the horn right now, joining Gorman in the Morning. John, good morning, sir.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm all right. I got to start here. I'm reading that you're from East Liverpool, Ohio.
Yes, I am.
I'm looking at a map, and I don't see a Liverpool, Ohio. What's happening down there?
I guess it's like named after the Liverpool in England, but it's it's west of that.
Right.
Depending on which way you're traveling. Look, the test scores weren't really high.
Right. Okay.
They went with East Liverpool. I don't know if they got in a fight with West Liverpool and won, but I don't know. But
that'd be pretty good.
It is what it is. Yeah.
So,
I left for a reason.
Well, that answers my next question, because another thing I read in your bio is you began performing in clubs in both Cleveland and Pittsburgh, and I was going to say, but where are you from? So Ohio, and I'm sorry, but I immediately think Browns fan growing up. Tough times.
Yeah. That's why I'm a comedian, and I'm not an adult. So yeah.
Well, all great comedy stems from trauma, so that's yours,
yeah.
I guess.
Yeah. If I'd have been a Steelers fan, I'd have been a well-adjusted person. But no, I was a Browns fan, and I dealt with a lot of trauma in middle school. So yeah, it was rough.
So was it actually around middle school? Did you start noticing like, hey, I'm kind of funny. I kind of like getting people to laugh.
Yeah, probably. I mean, I know it was 6th grade. I was on my 6th grade basketball team, and I was at basketball practice, and I don't know what I can say, but I pooped my pants, and so that sort of became like the one thing that was sort of like the catalyst, like the first story that I would tell, and my friends would have me retell, and
right.
So that's more trauma.
Well, the good thing about sixth graders is they would immediately forget the fact that one of their friends crapped himself at practice. I'm sure, it was never going to be mentioned again. So,
no, yeah. 15 of my closest friends were there, and it was around 8th grade when they kept bringing it up again.
Sure,
and that's when it became a funny story. So yeah.
So if we walked out right now, no warm-ups onto a court, how many free throws out of 10 do you think you could hit?
Let's see. If we could go win out right now, probably 6.
Hey, strong. Okay. Anything over 50% at this, at our advanced ages.
Hall of Fame.
Yeah, that's pretty good stuff.
It's better than Shaq, right? So yeah.
It's better than Shaq, and I bet you could do 6 out of 10 without crapping yourself.
You know what? I'm not going to make those kind of promises, all right? Because it is early in the morning. So
probably for the best. John Caparulo is with us on Gorman in the Morning. Or were you a music fan as a kid? Do you like rock bands?
You know what? I did actually. The Black Crowes. The second concert I ever went to, Black Crowes.
Wow. Oh, nice.
Opened for Aerosmith. So yeah.
Oh wow, Cuyahoga Falls.
It was in. It was at Blossom Music Center.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to remember
outside of Cleveland. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Because there was a different amphitheater that was on the Pittsburgh side, but yeah, Blossom. They opened for Aerosmith, and it was during their first album.
Right. John, I hate to say this, but I'm cursed with the kind of memory. I could tell you, I'm not going to, all about the fight we had backstage right after that gig.
Is that right?
Oh yeah, I remember it very, very clearly, man. The salad days, we like to call them. See, you missed that.
Man.
Being a comedian, you didn't get to enjoy the fruits of being in a band where you suddenly overnight you want to murder all your best friends on a regular basis.
Well, you know what? I didn't get to have that exactly. I mean, I did tours with other comedians, and I mean, I know how that goes.
Sure.
All right. I mean, we were on a tour bus together. I remember once for 30 days, and we don't hang out much anymore. So yeah, it's, I know how it goes.
That's 27. That's 27 days more than necessary for sure.
Exactly.
Hey, John, I'm Paul Fletcher. Let's go back to the concert. You said that was the second show you ever saw. What was the first one?
The first one actually was I went to. It was also Aerosmith. My sister was a big Aerosmith fan, and so I tagged along. They actually Skid Row opened for them on that one.
Oh wow!
So I would like to say that my first one was the Black Crowes one, but I'd be lying. So yeah, it was Skid Row.
Well, at least you got your integrity.
Bringing up painful memories because John, I'll tell you, when we finished that tour with Aerosmith, we had been told by their crew, like Skid Row came out before you guys, and they did such a great job. They got some really nice gifts. The guys in Aerosmith bought them like farewell presents, and so we went into our last gig waiting. We got nothing.
Oh man!
We're like, oh wow, they like Skid Row more than us. Damn.
Yeah, but that's why there was a difference in the music, all right? I mean, because you guys were the legitimate angst and hate that you had. I mean, it made it so, yeah, like, I mean, you didn't come with some, I remember you. It was, twice as hard. And She Talks to Angels. That's brilliant music. No matter how you want to slice it, what happened backstage. That's brilliant music that is timeless, so congratulations.
Legitimate angst and hate. That should have been the title of my book. What was I thinking?
Yeah, right?
John Caparulo is with us on Gorman in the Morning. You're at the Parkway Sunday night. I got to think you've done comedy in Minneapolis and before several times, I'm sure.
I have. Actually, I don't think I've ever been to Minneapolis when there's sun.
Oh, really?
I mean, it's always been like January, February, and so I'm actually happy to see if you guys actually have grass.
Well, dude, I'm sorry to say it's going to be cloudy on Sunday. You're missing the greatest week and a half of weather we've ever had. It ends tonight, so don't worry. It'll be that familiar old Minneapolis when you get here.
All right, yeah. Well, I mean, I grew up in gray, so I mean, it's not like I'm not used to it.
It's going to be gray and 61, though. I mean, 61 is a pretty solid degree, if you ask
me. That's fantastic, especially when you're as fat as I am. So yeah, that's perfect.
You and me both, my man. I like anything below 70 for sure. Hey, I noticed that you worked at a golf course in Los Angeles.
I did.
What did you do exactly? How long were you there? Did you like it? Like, what's the bit on the golf course?
Well, I worked at a few different golf courses, but because, I mean, especially as a comedian, I mean, you want to have a day job during the day, so you have your nights that you can go perform. And my last day job was at the Encino Golf Course, and I remember it was. It was one of those jobs that was like, it was a city, it was a municipal job, and they wanted you to take it seriously. But I'm like, dude, I don't need to show up for a meeting. We cut rings around trees. There's nothing to talk about. But my favorite part of that was like, I got to tag along with the guy catching gophers, and that's like going fishing every day on land. And we'd flood them out of there, and they come out all wet and mad, and it was and the only thing was they wanted us to kill them, and I'm like, dude, I'll let them loose on another golf course, but I'm not going to kill them. And
you guys are like, nah, man, we'll take these over to Balboa. Screw those guys.
Right, exactly. Yeah, it was right next door.
That's hilarious.
But we ended up finding there was a hawk that lived between the 10th and 1st fairway. We basically domesticated that hawk, and we'd catch a gopher, we put it out in the middle of the fairway, hawk would swoop down and get him. And it was great. So one day we caught one that was too big, and it was like the hawk tried to take off with it. And remember in Jaws 2 when the shark ate the helicopter?
Yeah, very much, of course.
Oh, no. Like if the gopher wins this fight, I'm not coming back to work. But, it was fun. It was a fun way to pass time. So I became an actual real comedian. So,
hey, I got to tell you, John, I've played a bunch of those public courses in L.A. I saw the one time I ever saw him at the Encino Golf Course, post-trial, obviously, when the country clubs didn't want him. I saw O.J. Simpson there once.
Yeah. I people would tell me he would come to that. I never actually saw him there. I did see Jim Brown. And, that was one of those ones where it was like, there's just a presence with that guy. I'm like, man, I'd hate to be put in a foursome with Jim Brown. Like, it's like, like if I walked over his line, I'm gonna get blindsided with a shoulder or something.
Sure.
I mean, he was like 65 at the time too. But yeah,
for all of this work with the Gophers, the Kenny Loggins tune "I'm All Right's" just blasting through the back of your mind at all times.
I mean, of course it. Why? Yeah. I mean, why wouldn't it be? But it was. It was that and the Black Crowes, brother. That and the Black Crowes.
Hey, wow. I'll take it. Sunday night at the Parkway. This Sunday, May 18th, John Caparulo. You can go to johncaparulo.com for more details. There are a few tickets still remaining. So how long are you going to be in town? Are you flying in, doing the gig and out, or are you going to hang around? What's happening this weekend?
I think it's just a one-day in and out because I'm going to Albuquerque a couple nights before that, and then of course, if you go to Albuquerque, the next logical stop is Minneapolis.
That was my thought. I'm looking at the dates now. Albuquerque, then Minneapolis, then Tierra del Fuego on the southern tip of Argentina. Interesting routing, to be sure.
Yeah, right. Yeah, then Guam. Yeah,
that's it. No, hey, listen, man, just collect those points, brother. Sit up front. That's great.
That's all I can do, right?
All right, John Caparulo, you got one album you're going to take away forever. It's such a cliche thing, and don't say anything by the Black Crowes, even if it's true. You got one record to listen to. What is it?
It's got to be Death Certificate by Ice Cube.
Nice. Wow. Hell yeah. Good
Lord. I mean, that was one, like when Biggie Smalls said, I let the tape rock till the tape pop. That one, I actually had a tape that I wore out, like that I had to buy the CD because the tape wore out. So, yeah.
I like that. Coming in. All right, and last question, brother. You got one team in any sport. Who's your favorite team?
One team in any sport? Are we talking any era? Or are we talking
any era. Like who? I mean, is it the Browns? Is it the Cavs? Is it somebody complete? Is it Kent State? Who you going for?
Oh man, it's tough. I mean, because part of me wants to say the 2007 Patriots but they didn't win. So I gotta go with the. I'd say 92, but come on, it's the 96 Bulls. 95-96 Bulls.
There you go.
So, there it is.
You can tell he's a Cleveland sports fan. He's thinking about the Bulls and the Patriots.
Absolutely, yeah. No, absolutely. I was never a Cavs fan, trust me. I learned a lesson from the Browns. No,
John Caparulo, Sunday night at Parkway. Have a great time. It's a pleasure to talk with you, man. Thanks for calling in.
Great talking to you guys. Thanks so much.
See ya.
Thank you.
Gorman in the morning. Coming right back. 92 KQRS. Streaming from 92KQRS.com. Gorman in the morning is back. 92 KQRS.
Billy Idol's on tour this summer. I imagine if you go see him, he's going to play his set, and then he's going to, you've been great tonight. Thanks so much for coming. See you next time. And then he's going to walk off stage, and then everyone's going to cheer and hold their lighters up, and then he'll come out and go.
Are they going to cry for more?
That's exactly what they're going to do, Ryder. And then he's going to come out and say, all right, then. Here's what you got. Here's what wedding for you. Bow. And then everyone's excited because the encore is the highlight of the night, or is it? Have we lapped ourselves? Is it time for the encore to go the way of the dodo? 651-989-ROCK. Have you ever been at a gig where the encore either completely blew your mind in a good way or in a bad way? Was the encore like, have you ever been to a show where you were like, this has been amazing, and then the encore just kind of ruined it for you? I'm curious.
There was a stretch of shows, and it was shortly after Prince died, where it was like every band who came to town did a Prince song as their encore.
Right.
And maybe the first couple of times it was cool, but I mean, I haven't moved. I have been here for the last 2 years listening to every band do Purple Rain as their encore.
Oof.
So let's mix it up, people.
Yeah. I remember right when he died, I have my friends there's a band called the Band of Heathens, great band from Austin, Texas, and they played Purple Rain, but they opened with it.
Okay, that's a little
Makes
bit
more
different.
sense.
Yeah.
It's like, this is gonna be a different mood than you're expecting, and we're gonna knock this out for 6 minutes, and then you'll get what you came for.
Sure.
I like that. REM was the kind of band that would, when I saw them in the 80s. Now 90s REM, when they were like an arena and stadium act, I missed that. I was busy. The 80s REM, clubs and theaters, that's when I was an REM obsessive fan. And they would do two things that I always thought were cool. They would open sometimes with a cover, and it would be like a very slow song. Like, I saw them open with Lou Reed's Pale Blue Eyes once.
Oh, really?
Like, it's like, hey, we're going real slow out of the gate.
Yeah.
And it would it's a way of grabbing the room's attention. You know, when someone walks in a room and they talk really quietly, you notice sometimes it's like everyone shuts up. It was kind of that vibe, and then they would kick it off. But then their encores were always also more like for them. The encore was like, we're going to play some covers. We're going to play a B-side. They wouldn't save the hit for the encore ever. It was like a mini set, just more to scratch an itch. And then when I got into a touring band, the Black Crowes, we treated our encores like that too for a while. We would throw out a weird cover or do a song we didn't do often. And I would be sitting there at the kit watching the crowd they don't love it so much. They'd be like, you really should have put Remedy here, not at the end of the set. What the hell's wrong with you guys? So I get both sides of it. But when I'm at a gig now, if I'm watching a gig, if I make it to the encore, I feel I'm impressed with myself. I'm old. I'm tired.
Yeah.
That's how it goes.
And it's a lot of times if they knock the songs that you're there to hear out ahead of time, the encore can be a great way to beat traffic.
Yeah, well, and I appreciate the bands that do that. They're saying, okay, you want the big ones, we'll give them to you. And then the diehards that stay and get obsessed with the rare B-side or the cover tune in the encore, that's good for everybody. I like scratching all the various itches.
That is the way to do an encore, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Don't save if you've got, let's say you got 3, don't save 2 of them for the encore. Knock them out earlier, and then let the encore be for the hardcore fans. Give it something special, if you
more than the rock world. Country artists are absolutely all about the customer is right, generally speaking.
Right.
You know, the country, it's all about do what they want when they want it.
100%.
That's how that entire format works in the world.
Yep.
They are robot hamster wheel, Megatron. Everybody does the same script. Jason Aldean is one of those ginormous country stars who sounds like every other ginormous country star to me. Jason Aldean was talking about this very thing the other day.
I'm not a big encore guy. I feel like I hate when artists kind of bait them into that. It's like, oh, I'm not going to play one of my biggest songs so that you guys cheer when I'm done for me to come back out and do this, right? And I always tell them, listen, I'm going to just play you guys everything we got, and when it's over, right? That's it. I'm not going to go off stage for 5 minutes and wait for you guys to cheer for me to come back out. Let's just play everything we got.
So if you
leave the stage, it's done.
If you got a partner who's into country music and you have to go to that Jason Aldean show at XL in the fall, be prepared for no encore.
That's right.
guessing.
Yeah, it sounds like it.
And I hear that, and this is all I think. Well, Jason Aldean doesn't do drugs. He doesn't need a top off to get through the end of the night.
He's got reasons.
Good for him.
92 KQRS.
I, as I do oftentimes, thought to myself, you know what? I'm just going to go take a leak. And then I thought to myself, I wonder how I could improve the urinal situation in the world. Actually, I've never thought that once in my life. But I have thought to myself, it's kind of gross in here. And that's because, generally speaking, men's urinals, for the ladies that don't know this, there's a lot of splashback.
Okay. I'm obsessed with, urinals are fascinating because I've never used one.
Right.
Yeah.
I was really hoping you'd say because I can't help but use them, and I always find. No, it's a weird bit of a business here. At best, microscopic droplets spray out of urinals beyond the fixture onto floors. And a whole bunch of researchers, again, here we go with science and nerds, and thank God they're out there. With 56 million urinals in non-residential settings in the United States, researchers were like, you know what? We estimate more than 350,000 liters of urine splash onto floors every day in America. Every day. And those droplets are breeding grounds for bacteria, and it's just nasty. I mean, it's just really gross. And so a bunch of these smarty pants guys in their white lab coats are like, how do we stop the splashback coming out of the urinals? They've designed a couple of new urinals, and chances are you'll be seeing these pretty soon. The Cornucopia and the Nautilus.
I love the names.
They have great names. The Cornucopia especially.
Yeah.
Really, really fantastic. What they discovered is, if you're peeing and your urine hits a surface at less than 30 degrees, you can eliminate 95% of splashback. Yes. Which begs the question, who's still getting splashback in the what kind of bladder problems, or I should say power, do you have if you're going to get splashback at the new urinal designs? They're using that critical angle. The surface has to be less than 30 degrees to eliminate splashing. And they're saying if we can present this and get widespread adoption of the new design, we're going to prevent 1 million liters of urine from splashing onto the floors around here every day.
What do these look like?
So gross.
They look like, you know what? The first one I saw,
a teacup.
Well, there's that one. The one that really jumped out at me. It's called the Cornucopia. It looks like something you could climb into if need be.
A capsule.
It's a triangle. Shaped opening on a very large porcelain fixture that it makes me think of several things. One, you could climb in there and take a nap. It looks like a Joey's pouch on her mom on the front of a kangaroo.
That's great. Yeah.
It also looks like this will be weird. Just stick with me for a second.
Okay.
Lenny Kravitz. Bit of a pop rock star guy
with the mesh shirt,
mesh guy and the big scarves and the 12-pack abs.
Yeah.
Lenny Kravitz used to tour with a steam pod. He took it everywhere he went, and it was like a little one-man steam room, and it would close. It looks just like the Cornucopia. I could see Lenny Kravitz climbing in there for a steam and peeing splash-free at the same time.
Your kangaroo pouch is actually a great analogy.
Yeah.
And we can call this the piss pouch.
Okay, so if you two walk into a men's restroom, and
all four of them, or just Bono? See what I did there? Sorry, go ahead.
And you see this new designed urinal, and you see just a traditional one. Are you trying out the new one?
Absolutely.
Are you still going for Old Faithful?
No, I'm always looking for a new place to pee.
Okay.
So I would try out either the Cornucopia or the Nautilus.
I'm going for the Cornucopia for sure, and it's not only the angle, but it looks like it's fairly deep.
Yeah,
and so
it does.
The pee is going to go down there instead of back against me.
I do know this. If you see this Cornucopia, and again, it's a bit tough to describe, but just suffice to say, if you get splashback or leakage from this, you need to see a doctor.
I think that's more than fair.
You're peeing out of more than one spot, is what I'm saying.
What does the nautical one look like?
The Nautilus looks like kind of like what does that look like? Like a ski? Looks like a snowshoe. It's very tall. Yeah. It's very open, but it just has it's got a much larger space that you can aim for.
Oh, okay.
It looks like a standard urinal, but it goes all the way to the ground. It's like a floor to ceiling window instead of just a nice mid room window.
Snuck into boys' bathrooms and have seen urinals that do go all the way to the floor. Are those thumbs up or thumbs down?
Generally speaking, I would think they're thumbs up because you got a much larger target to try to go for.
Okay.
Well, and you can shoot down instead of straight across. You know what I mean? It's the meathead that just goes like, I gotta go so bad, and so it comes out in a solid stream, and he directs it directly across from him. Yeah. That's where all the blowback's coming. If you aim that thing down, that's.
I went to a basketball game when I was a kid, a college game. I was probably 7th or 8th grade, and I was in a big gymnasium at this arena I'd never been to before. And in the middle of the men's room, they had a fountain to wash your hands. And the way it was set up, it was you would step up to a circular fountain, and there was a ring on the floor. You put your foot, you activated the water the water from a foot. There was, foot pedals.
Pedal. Yes.
The pedal.
We had one at my elementary school.
Okay, so you know what I'm describing. I'm not painting a perfect picture, but you would then stick your hands under and the water would come out. And me as a 7th grader, I had never seen that particular piece of plumbing before. I thought it was a urinal. I stepped up and peed into the place you're supposed to wash your hands. And no one stopped me. No one corrected me. I was, in fact, across the fountain from a guy who was using it correctly, and he was watching me pee into the thing you're supposed to wash your hands and never said a word. And I was like, wow. I mean, I wouldn't hesitate to look at a kid and go, yo, not here.
No, wait. So the one that was at the elementary school I went to, when you push that foot pedal, the entire water fountain. So he came up, pushed the thing you're peeing, and then the water starts coming out.
Yeah. It was one of those moments that.
And is that when it clicked with you, or was it later?
No, it definitely clicked, but I was midstream. I was like, I'm just gonna get out of here and run away, and that's what I did. I didn't wash my hands. I just zipped up and got out of there.
It's Gorman in the morning with Fletcher and Ryder, 92 KQRS.
We're going to play a game called Pot or Not, which is exactly what you think it's going to be. First up, Rose from Inver Grove Heights. Rose, are you with us?
Yep.
Very glad to have you on the horn right now. We also have Brian from Vadnais Heights. Brian, you there?
I'm here.
Okay, guys, this is what we're going to do. We're going to go back and forth. Rose, then Brian. Rose, then Brian. You each get 5 rounds. I am going to give you a name that is either actually a strain of marijuana or it's not. It's either real or we made it up. Are you guys ready to play?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right. Are either of you stoned right now?
No.
Okay. You had to think about it, Brian. You had to think about it for a second. All right. Let's get to it. All right, Rose. Good luck to you both. Rose, you're up first. Your first pot or not, Gorilla Glue.
Not.
Sorry to say it is. That is pot, my friend.
Wow.
Shoot.
Wow.
All right. You keeping score there, Fletch?
I got it. I'm on it.
All right. Brian. Crouching Tiger, Hidden Alien.
I'm going to say yes.
Bingo, baby. That is pot. All right. Very well done. By the way, we were discussing earlier things that have made us cry. Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon cried like a baby in the theater.
Really?
Oh, yeah. That movie's incredible. All right, back to Rose. Let's get back on that horse.
Come on, Rose. You got this.
Purple Rain. Rain with an E on the end. Purple Rain. Pot or not?
Pot.
That is pot.
That is, yeah.
Spoken like someone who knows her business. All right, Brian, you're up next. Behind Blue Eyes. Pot or not? Behind Blue Eyes.
I'm going to say not.
Not. Very well played, yeah. Behind Red Eyes, sure. All right, round 3. Rose, Screaming Red Robin. Pot or not?
I'm going to say pot.
Oh, I'm sorry to say not.
Wow.
That sounded like a real one.
I was shaking my head up and down like crazy there.
All right, Brian, your third. We're at
2-1 Brian right now.
2-1 Brian. Brian, here we go. Purple Monkey Balls. Purple Monkey Balls.
I'm going to say yes.
It is indeed.
Oh!
It is indeed pot. Man.
Brian is 3 for 3.
All right. You're still in this one, Rose. Yep. But I don't think you have room for error moving forward. Okay.
Nope, I don't.
Here we go. Bob Saget OG. Bob Saget OG. Pot or not?
Yes.
Atta girl.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Still swinging. Still coming out swinging.
Saget,
I like that.
Love the Kush.
He was a solicitor and an imbiber for sure.
And a
All
champion.
Right. Brian, here we go. Gordie Howe hat trick. Pot or not?
I'm going to say not.
That is correct. My man Brian knows his strains.
Yeah.
We're gonna play out the side here. Rose, last chance. Girl Scout cookies. Pot or not?
I'm going to say pot.
It is pot.
Boom.
Wow.
There you go.
That surprised me.
And then Brian, let's finish it out.
We can run the table.
Run the table here, brother.
Right.
Slap and tickle. Slap and tickle. Pot or not?
I'm going to say not.
Oh! It is.
Oh. Really?
It is. It is pot. You missed on running the table, but I'm pretty sure you did take home the bacon.
It was 4. Brian had 4. Rose had 3. So it was close. Hard fought by Rose. You stuck in there, didn't quit. But yeah, Brian gets it.
Well done, Rose. Brian, congrats, brother. You got 2 very nice seats to see Stevie Nicks August the 19th. Have yourself a fine night with that one, brother. Thank you guys both for calling in and playing.
And pack some for the game or for the show.
I'm going to ask you, Fletcher. There was a tiebreaker question just in case.
Okay.
And I want to see how close you come to this.
All right.
How many documented slang words are there for cannabis?
Documented
like
slang words.
Slang words for cannabis.
And it's a nice round number.
Just a straight up nice round number. That's
15,000.
15,000 he went with. Wow. 1,200.
1,200.
Yeah.
Well, I had the 1 and the 2 zeros right.
You did. You were close. It was over 1,000. I would have said 800 or 600 or something. I wouldn't have gone nearly that high.
I had no basis for that whatsoever. No clue.
I think the way they determine that is just basically sit around with a bunch of stoners, and most of the words they say, you would go, oh, he means his weed. That's slang for weed.
Right. That's why I assumed the number would be so absurdly high.
Yeah, these things happen.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I love giving away tickets. I love the joy. I love spreading the joy with concert tickets.
Yeah.
What better thing could there be?
And silly, fun games like that are a blast. I'll keep score anytime you guys need.
I'm sorry, what was silly about that? This is our job, dude. We're here. This is a public service. We're giving away concert tickets. It's Stevie Nicks. She's a witch, for God's sake. She'll turn you into a newt.
All of that is correct.
Can't believe
all of that is correct.
The silly part about that was how long I had to spend working on the knot clues because there are so many strains of marijuana. I was going to do Back in Black as a knot, and then I found out it was actually pot.
Of course.
Wow. Yeah, that's actually a ton of behind-the-scenes work there. You can't, especially if there's 15,000 document, which there aren't.
Gorman in the morning is also Gorman on the go. Get the 92 KQRS app and stream live or catch the Gorman in the Morning podcast anytime. 92 KQRS.